Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to Meet Your Neighbours Unplugged. And this week we have somebody who was requested by the community. I'd like to welcome Otto Mattak. How you doing, Otto?
Life is good. Life is good, and I'm honored to be requested. It's good to talk to you, G4.
It's always good to talk to you, mate. I've missed you since our days of playing Fallout 76, which seems like an age ago, but that was a lot of fun when it first came out. We were able to all do stupid things.
Yes. I actually still own the game, but my time with it was rather brief, I have to admit.
I must admit, I no longer play it at the moment myself. But anyway, I think with the new DLC content that's coming to Wastelanders NPCs, I'm going to certainly have a good look at that and see if it sparks my interest. But yeah, I was a little bit disappointed by kind of some of the additional content with 76, to be honest. Even though I do think it's a good game, but just other games jumped in front of it, and that was the end of that. So.
That's kind of my story, too. It's just too many games, too little time. And 76, I mean, it's like the NPCs does pique my interest because that's one of the things that was noticeably lacking, at Go.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost like, I play Sea of Thieves, too. Well, for their 1-year anniversary, they introduced a campaign mode.
Wow. Interesting.
Just like 76, it's kind of one of those things where you think to yourself, yeah, that's great. I would have loved it at launch because it kind of seems like something you'd want in your game at launch.
Mm-hmm.
But I'll take it belated.
It's funny because it seems to be a trend at the moment with development companies. Bethesda have now jumped on the Battle Royale bandwagon. And I've got to say, having played that, it isn't bad. It isn't bad at all. But I can't say I'm a big fan of the Battle Royale kind of genre, if that's how you want to put it. But again, Activision, they dropped their campaign this year to focus on Battle Royale, and it just seems development companies sometimes are missing the point of why we actually personally buy games from them. So.
Agree, and they're certainly catering to I want to say specific audience, but honestly, like anybody, our interests change.
Mm-hmm.
Certainly there's people playing Battle Royale that weren't in that first wave of people who I tend to think are juniors.
Mm-hmm.
But so I don't know. It does certainly they seem to follow the trend, but I like a little more originality, as I'm sure a lot of folks do.
I totally agree. And yeah, I'm not beating up on the game. I'm just saying, and I've got to balance it out by saying I do love that about our community, that we all have a majority of us have a common love of kind of Fallout. That's where most of us have met. But it's great to have a community that has different game interests, and I know there's a number of people within the community that love the new Nuclear Winter and they're playing it to death, and I think it's healthy. It's just for me, I enjoy it. It's just I would rather have time in other games at the moment, so I may come back to that at some point.
Same here, and I've had serious thoughts of reinstalling Fallout 4 because.
Wow.
Almost to the extent that 76 makes me nostalgic for Fallout 4.
Well, that's a good thing then.
Absolutely.
So where are you joining us from, Otto? Where do you reside at the moment? I know you're in North America, but...
Columbus, Ohio.
Oh, Ohio.
Yeah.
Nice. And is that where you grew up, or have you kind of migrated to there over time?
I grew up in Columbus.
Mm-hmm.
So kind of I've always been in a suburban area in terms of where I'm staying, as they say.
Mm-hmm. And the suburbs suit you? You haven't had any thoughts of going bush, as they say in Australia, and heading out to the West Virginian hills or something like that?
Well, I mean, in a way, that's the thing about Ohio. A lot of people think of Ohio and they think, well, that's rural, a lot of farmland. Yep. And indeed it is, but along what they call the 3C corridor, you've got Cleveland, Columbus, and Cincinnati. And So it feels like I grew up in a city. Columbus is, I just read this, the 14th largest city in the United States.
Okay.
Kind of blew my mind, and apparently Cleveland, nobody lives in Cleveland anymore, I don't think. Um, and Columbus has overtaken Cincinnati. But anyways, you don't have to drive but like 45 minutes east or west, and it's just farmland until the border.
Nice.
I mean, it's and I work out there. I work at an equine park, so I kind of make a commute to the sticks every day. But I wouldn't want to live there.
Commute to the sticks is good though, because it generally means you're going opposite to all those people that are filtering into the city. So.
Yes, you put your finger right on it. Absolutely.
So they're all going into the city, and when you're going home, they're all coming out of the city. So that's not bad.
I mean, I'm not trying to be mean. I don't know them, but they're suckers. That's what I feel like when I'm passing them. I'm like suckers.
So, what brought you to the kind of world of YouTube? What motivated you to kind of get into YouTube as such?
In terms of being a content creator, it was really this is almost embarrassing to say, but it shouldn't be. It was Minecraft.
Mm-hmm. Why is that embarrassing?
A lot of people, kind of poo-poo Minecraft. It's a children's game, they'll say. Although, someone could turn around and be like, "Yeah, well, I built the Chrysler Building in it."
Yeah. Well, there you go. I mean, as I found out for Strontium the other day, you can actually set forest fires. But anyway, it's another story completely.
if you're that type of player, I guess.
Which our beloved Strontium it certainly is.
I thought he liked trees, but yeah.
Well, I think if you listen to his interview, he's very clear on his position with trees. But anyway,
that's true. I did get some focus there at the end. But yeah, it was. I had been working on pretty much one server in that game since 2012, and it just turned into little cities, and it was a role play world. And I thought, man, I really want to post this stuff. And so I made a YouTube channel, and then Fallout 4 came out, and I had, played the hell out of New Vegas, Fallout 3. I kind of retroactively played Fallout 1. Mm-hmm. So, distracted by that, and then I started posting Fallout videos. And I never have really posted a Minecraft video.
Interesting. I know you've got quite a diverse amount of content on, big words, on your channel. I did have a wee sneak peek the other day at what you've posted in the past, and there's a lot of great games on there. So, just coming to the discussion on 76 and kind of what you're describing, the type of games you play. Do you prefer doing the solo stuff, or are you co-op guy? Are you in the middle? Where do you kind of sit as far as gaming and games that you look to play sit?
It's strange for me because when I find a solo game, what I inevitably do is play it alone. When I want to be posting videos, I'll instead, even if I try to stream it or post videos of it, I'll find myself playing ahead. Mm-hmm. That playlist just kind of goes kaput because I've already won the game, and at the same time, I do have a healthy respect for single-player games, obviously, since I neglect everything else, but I don't really have a preference. I mean, I don't want to play a just straight-up PvP.
Understand.
More than that.
Yeah.
A little more, but...
Okay. And I think... I enjoy co-op games, but it's not something that I've played a lot of per se. But I'm actually warming to it, and I don't think I would have had as much fun with a Fallout game if I hadn't been playing with a bunch of lunatics in 76, and I mean that in the best possible way. But we've had some great laughs. We just and we didn't really care about the storyline or anything. We just got in together and run around and created mayhem. I've been playing with Mikey Borderlands lately, and that's been a lot of fun too. So yeah, it's something I'm warming to personally, but I've always kind of personally been a solo player. And it's only in the last couple of years that I've kind of opened my eyes to a co-op. But I think it's a trend in the industry right now that everything has to be, live and online and co-op and blah blah blah. So
Yeah, I agree. It does seem like everything's kind of swaying that way. It gives me a modicum of respect or extra respect for those companies that do just kind of, especially when it's an indie company and they put out player game, but the concept is just right, and it's almost a brave move anymore.
I totally agree, and that's why I'm so excited about Outer Worlds coming out from Obsidian.
Yeah, me too.
That's really piqued my interest. I was speaking to somebody else yesterday who you'll hear fairly shortly, and he was also saying that he's really excited for that game because it really kind of puts your finger back on the kind of Fallout 3 New Vegas type of thinking, storyline wise and player wise, so with updated graphics and engines. So
Yeah, I mean, there are various aspects of New Vegas that I just found. I'd have a hard time telling you which is my favorite in terms of Fallout 3, Fallout 4, and New Vegas. But New Vegas was genius in its own way. I mean, there were certain things I didn't care for, but by and large, that game was it was great.
What is it? Can you put your finger on what you look for when you're looking to start or purchase a new game? What are you looking for straight out the gate?
Well, certainly Sandbox. That's almost a prereq anymore. Shame to say, because certainly there's got to be some good linear games out there, but Sandbox and frankly, I'm kind of obsessed with history. So if it's got a historical element, even if it's fantasy but rooted, if it's steampunk, you're thinking like 1890s or something. If it's Oblivion, obviously you're thinking medieval or something. I trend toward those kind of titles.
Bethesda do those well. When you think about it, you look at the Skyrim series, Elder Scrolls series. You look at Fallout, and then look at something like Dishonored as well. They do those very, very well, I think.
Agree, absolutely.
I think the other one that I enjoy from that perspective is the Ubisoft Assassin's Creed series, because they also spend a lot of time getting at least the look and the information that you can glean from a lot of those games on historic buildings and historic areas very accurate. So
yeah, I do have to respect that about the Assassin's Creed line, but I don't keep up with them. I did play them early on, but I kind of dropped off, and the only thing I could attribute that to perhaps is like certain RPG elements that I could find in a Bethesda game, but in terms of just the flow and the settings, yeah, Assassin's Creed is amazing.
It's interesting that they, Notre Dame burnt down recently, and yet they reckon that Assassin's Creed probably has the most accurate representation of Notre Dame Cathedral to help them.
Now that you mention that, yeah.
Which is quite amazing.
I remember hearing that, yep.
So you post stuff. I see that you post stuff probably now more regularly by streaming more than anything. Is that just a time thing, or have you got into streaming and enjoy it? Where did that kind of decision come from?
It is a time thing for sure. However, I gotta admit that there's a little selfishness in that, a little laziness, because once I started streaming, it just became, you kind of just rule out that editing phase.
Absolutely.
And sometimes the editing phase took so damn long.
Well,
looking back, I think I did better quality stuff with the editing. I'm not saying I'm a great editor, so if I'd say, yeah, those uploaded pieces are better, and they're certainly shorter and more consumable, but I talk myself out of it. I'm like, yeah, screw that half of me. I can just hit record and we're good.
I think you're right, man. I think the editing of videos gives you a heck of a lot more freedom as far as creativity goes, but the streaming is basically, you're out there, it's raw, whatever happens, and it's done. You do nothing
Yes.
more, and life goes on.
Yeah.
And we're all time poor, so
That's the truth. And that real time interaction, too. I guess I can't downplay that.
I love it. I love that. We have such a fun time, and we start to open up Discord now. Last couple of weeks, and when we're streaming, which is it's another aspect to it, which is a lot of fun. But I do enjoy it. I'm trying to balance. I'm still trying to find that balance on my own channel of edited versus streaming, and I'm starting to lean much more to streaming. I gotta say, it's just easier.
Absolutely. I can't blame you. And I mean, when it does come to the real time interactions, I mean, I'm not blowing smoke, but our community is, there's some entertaining people out there, and they don't even have to be posting videos, just their comments, the insight to their lives.
I totally
got some good people in this community.
Absolutely, I totally agree. The name Otto Mattak, where did that come from?
It was Gamertag first.
Mm-hmm.
Old handle though. I mean, I guess since he had to make gamer tags, and I've always tried to stay, with the curve in terms of consoles. So what would that be, when the first Xbox came out or something?
Yeah, I guess so. I guess you had PlayStation 1 and the original. Well, it was 360 first, or was it the original? It was the original Xbox first, wasn't it? And then it was 360. So, is there a story behind the name?
There's not. There's really not. I just thought, yeah.
So it's just something that you came up with and went, yeah, that'll do.
Exactly. Yeah, I was just trying to think. I thought, well, automatic. How could we play with that? Well, OTTO, and then it was a matter of how I spelled the last name. When trying to spell it accurately, the last part, those names are already taken, but I don't know what happened to those guys.
Oh, well,
the one that's actually named Automatic out there. No, it doesn't. You're right.
You won that. You won that one, well and truly.
Yeah. I like to think so, and I appreciate you reinforcing that.
You're just weak. You've stayed for the duration, man. What's your future plans for your own channel, Otto? Are you much the same? New games? Anything fresh, or is it cooking video, perhaps?
Cooking video. I do cook. I just I almost feel like I cook too much. It's the proverbial the carpenter that needs a new deck, or the painter whose house needs painted. I just when I come home, I don't really want to cook. I hate to say it, but in terms of videos, I'm into Sea of Thieves. There are other games that I really want to play. Kingdom Come Deliverance is something that I've tried, but the combat in it is very difficult. But there's something about that game that I'm attracted to, so I might do some of that. And as always, since the formation of my channel, there's something telling me, dude, go ahead and post your Minecraft stuff.
Yeah, I think you should. It's funny. I've watched these guys for years. There's a channel called You Always Win, and they started with Minecraft, and we're talking couple million plus subscribers to the channel now, but they've recently gone back and made a new channel, and they've gone back and started playing Minecraft, and they said, this is where we started, and we still love the game 6-7 years later, so, and they seem to be doing very well, mate. I think there's still a very big community out there that would love to see Minecraft videos, so.
I think so too. They almost say that there's a resurgence going on, and I think that game's been out for 10 years.
Wow.
That's
amazing.
Kind of crazy. Yeah, it is. Yeah, I can't think of another title that I could say that about.
No, I mean, the longevity of games, there's only a few that actually stand the test of time, I think, and Minecraft's one of them, I guess.
Yeah.
That's where I
guess it's not all about.
Go on, sorry.
Go ahead.
No, go. It's not all about you were about to say.
I don't even remember at this point.
That's okay, that's fine. What I was going to say is that's where I think it was a bold move for Gearbox to bring out a DLC for a game that's essentially 70 years old. It's like, wow. I've never seen any other company do that or be brave enough to do that. So I guess Skyrim fits in that kind of window where it's Skyrim would be around that vintage, wouldn't it? Be 10 years, close to it.
I would think so. Yeah, if not, damn near.
It still has a huge player base. So I know Minecraft has a huge player base too, and I think it appeals to all kinds of ages too. So
Yeah, it does. I mean, it is a simple game, certainly graphics wise, but I think it's just like one of those things, almost like Legos or something.
Mm-hmm.
It's what you decide to do with it. It's what you make of it, I suppose.
And I guess that's where Fallout 4 for me is I still love building Fallout 4 because there's no end to what you can do and what you can accomplish in that building section of that game. So it's probably a very similar thing, and I think it's disappointing to see the what they did with 76 as far as building, because we were expecting, I think we had high expectations. And if you read the history of the building component in Fallout 4, it really wasn't a polished model, but people have just taken it and run with it, and the modding community go behind it, and so it's grown its own kind of legs as such. So
that's honestly, that's a brilliant segue, because it is what you make of it. You're right. It totally applies to Fallout 4. Mm. You can build whatever you want, and I too, I'm kind of 76 didn't offer something on par with that, and maybe they still can, but they couldn't do it. It'd have to be a different server, it'd have to be dedicated to building. I don't know.
I think, but I understand why the building system is the way it is in 76, and it's got a lot to do with the nature of that game, it being online and server capacity, and we breaks Fallout 4, so you can imagine if were allowed to run loose with mods and all kinds of stuff, it would they'd just constantly have server crashes. So I can understand that, completely understand that, but I thought they would give us
I could see it too, like
I thought they would give us a little bit more creativity.
Come see my property, and everyone's game just crashes as soon as they get to your gate.
Yeah, and it would happen. There's no doubt in my mind it would happen. So.
Absolutely.
What is it that you love about gaming, Otto?
I know this is almost a cliche answer, but I would have to say just the escape. I mean, and this is almost cliche too, because I've watched enough Meet Your Neighbors to know at this point. Tabletop role-playing. I mean, that was for me, and there, I guess you could apply that. It is what you make of it to almost any game that allows you some semblance of role-playing. I like to jump into Bethesda game. I like to make multiple characters, and I think that's true for a lot of people.
I think though, it's, and especially if you live, I shouldn't say that, but I think city life is potentially quicker, a much more fast-paced kind of thing. But I think, in general, life is certainly a lot more challenging now than when I grew up. And what I mean by that is, you want the American dream or the Aussie dream of owning your property, your little house with white picket fence, all that kind of stuff. And so, traditionally, Dad went out to work and Mum stayed home with the kids. And now that's just not the way it is, because people can't afford to do that. So you got both parents working. There's everybody seems to be time poor. So to get some relief away from the stresses and strains of real life, that's why I think a lot of people say what you say. It's an escape. It's just somewhere where I can go to. I don't have to think about all the bills and the whatever it might be, and I can just relax and de-stress and re-energize or whatever it might be. So
I couldn't agree more. I mean, that is what it is. I mean,
and there's something
sounds trite, but it's true.
There's something cool about being, I don't know, a knight in an old realm or whatever your pleasure might be, or The guy
Yeah.
that's going to save the world after the nuclear explosion or whatever it might be. Yeah.
I mean, even in a managerial sense, like I'll play games like City Skylines or Tropico, and so it's just like, well, I'm the ruler now, and list. I'm not in real life, but let's try this,
But I can be here for a couple of hours, so I shall.
Right. And in Rome.
When in Rome. What would have been the first video game you ever played? Can you remember?
Boy, that's a tough one to answer. So when I was growing up, it would have been, sorry. I remember this game called, up the title. Oh man, it would be like the Great Gianna Sisters, and essentially it seemed like a rip-off of Mario Brothers, and it would have been for the Commodore 64.
Nice. Did you see they're bringing a version of the Commodore 64 back?
No, I didn't.
You have to watch, what stream was it? I did last week. I'll
Okay.
send it to you, Mike, because right at the start I picked up a 1.5 minute video about bringing the 64 back with 20 games uploaded onto it, and yeah, pretty much what they're doing with the PS1 at the moment.
That's amazing. Yeah, because that was my brother played that, and so I think that was one game that he turned me on to. Just because at that point Mario Brothers was in the arcade. I don't know if the NES was out yet. I don't think it was, but that's my first recollection. And I didn't really get an independent interest in games other than just playing Atari with my brother when he'd allow me until the NES came out.
And then it opened up a whole new world, I guess.
Absolutely, yeah.
So, what's kind of your favorite video game series?
Well, that's tough. Wow. Boy, I would be torn between Fallout and honestly, perhaps the Grand Theft Auto series.
Nice.
Maybe not so much GTA anymore. Honestly, with 76, I've already confessed that I don't play very much of it, but nonetheless, I still have a massive amount of respect for both of those.
Nice. And I believe there's a new GTA coming.
Is there really?
Yeah, I read that the other day. I think I posted an article that there's a new one coming. I don't think we've got too much info on it, but there was an indication the other day in the gaming news that it's coming.
That's awesome.
Right, here's a curveball for you. If I was able to grant you a superpower, what would you choose?
Any superpower, I guess.
You can make it up if you like.
I'm going to go with that.
You can make one up if you like. I know some people have, actually. Some people have surprised me when they've answered it. What would you pick, mate?
Oh my! The ability to time travel.
To time
for
travel.
Sure.
And so,
yeah.
if you were to time travel, where would you go first?
Damn.
You thought it was going to be easy, didn't you?
Yeah. Depending on my means of escape, that is to say, getting back in the time machine, I think I'd want to board the Titanic.
Oh, interesting.
And I hate to confess that I'd be a voyeur for people's misery, but yeah, I'd want to do that. But I need an escape plan. I'm not getting stuck on that son of a bitch.
So you'd be the guy rowing away, laughing and waving, would you?
Yeah, in my rowboat time machine. That'd be the worst time machine ever. It's a rowboat.
Along that same line, and thinking about present day, if I was able to give you a first class ticket to anywhere in the world, where would you travel to?
Oh, that one's easy. I would travel north, like past Canada, into the Arctic, I would want to go to Santa's workshop to see where the elves make all that wonderful technology. No, I would probably go to Maine. I think Maine.
Would that have to be a one-way ticket, or would you come back from there?
Maine?
No, Santa's workshop.
Santa's workshop. Depends on what the women are like. I don't know.
Oh dear, the elf women can be. Yeah, anyway, we'll just leave that right there.
Get on.
Well, mate, thank you so much. Yeah. Go.
I was gonna say, but yeah, probably Maine. I think.
Maine.
Yeah.
You can be anywhere in the world. Did you go to Maine?
No, I'd still be within the continental United States. That's pretty lame, but
That's
yeah, I have a strong affinity for Maine, so.
Okay, fantastic.
Be.
Okay, Otto, thanks for joining us on the show, man. That was a very insightful interview. I always like members of the community that have a different outlook on life, and you certainly have got a little bit of a different outlook. And I love, by the way, while I'm here, I absolutely loved your update video. I thought that was absolute genius the way you put that together, and it looked like you had a lovely day out with the family. So kudos for that one.
Yeah. That was a fun one to make. Don't expect too many like that. But yeah, it was fun. It was a blast. Thank you, though.
No problem, mate. And yeah, it was quite fun watching you yesterday, trying to figure out how Sea of Thieves worked again. Obviously, you'd had a couple of weeks off.
Yeah, it was a little rusty. I think we sunk her.
Why not? So, guys, if you haven't checked out Otto's channel, please do so. I'll leave links down below. And thank you so much for joining us, mate. It has been an absolute pleasure.
Thank you, G4. I'm honored that you asked. And everybody be well. Have fun.
No worries. And we'll catch you next time on Gaming for XP. See ya.